Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to this week's Sketch Sunday. So this week I don't have an actual sketch drawn out for you, it's just something that was in my head. And I wanted to use some of the products from Concord and Ninth. I just started ordering from them and I love the products and I think that they're very versatile, so I wanted to show you what you can do with this Lucky stamp and die set. Now, there are other ones available. This is the Hello die set and stamp and die set, and then the background for that Hello card that I have was created from the Turnabout stamp. So I will make another video on that because those are super cool. They're easy to use. They look like they would be complicated, but you definitely want to stay tuned for a video on that. So I'm just showing you that you can get a lot out of the die cuts. So you'll see it more in the Lucky. So this is the bubble die, and you get the outline part of the die, and then you also get the bubble word Lucky. So you can use that, you can cut it out of two different colors of cardstock and then create a shadow. You can use the skinny Lucky in the middle of it, and you can see the stars are, you get two stars with one pass through the die cut machine. So you can also use the coordinating Lucky stamp with it, and that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put everything aside and we're going to create the background. So we're going to be using 4 different colors of distress ink. Now, if you're not a person who likes to get inky, this definitely is not a great technique for you. Distress inks can do so many techniques and I absolutely love them. We are creating a night sky with 4 different colors of distress ink. The first one we're going to be using is Picked Raspberry. That's that pink color at the bottom. Then I thought I was going to use the blue, which is Chipped Sapphire, and I decided not to. I decided to use the Dusty Concord instead. So it's going to go pink, purple. The blue is bluish purple, and then we're going to put a teeny tiny bit of black on the top of it. Now, if you're looking at the piece, you're thinking, what the heck is this? It doesn't look good at all. Don't worry, it will look better after you've put more layers on. You kind of have to go back and forth with the colors and play around with how they're blending together. You can use water on these and put little drops of water, and that'll also help them blend. You can use different kinds of paper, and that will also help. I believe I'll have to find the paper that people say to use, and I have some of it. I just have never used it, and they say it blends much easier than regular cardstock. This is regular 65-pound weight cardstock from Michael's, one of those value packs. I just have a bunch of that lying around, so I just thought that I would use that. It's cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, which is a 1/4 inch shorter than the card base. Card base is a typical A2 size card, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So now I'm just going back and forth with all the colors, those first 3 colors, and just trying to get things to blend, making sure that there's no harsh lines and that it's not a straight across line. You don't want it to look layered when you're making the night sky. You kind of want to make it blend, all colors blending into each other and not really being able to tell where one color ends and the next color begins. So now I'm taking the black Soot Distress ink and going over the top of it. It didn't really turn out the way that I wanted it. It made the Chipped Sapphire look a little bit darker. So it's okay, but it wasn't what I had in mind. Now, if you notice, the black soot is smaller than the other ones. This is the mini ink blending pad, or mini ink cube. The other ones are the full-size cubes. So the full-size cubes came out first, and then the mini ones came out later on. And so I have mostly the large ones. And again, I'm showing you my hands because they're ridiculously inky after all of this. So you can get them, they're available in either the full or the mini. So now what I'm going to do is I'm taking that Lucky bubble word and the Lucky stamp set, and we're going to stamp it onto the card panel that we've created. And we're going to be using my favorite things, Razzleberry ink. So I'm using the MISTI. Now, if you guys have never seen it, it's a great stamping tool. So what you want to do is you want to line up the cardstock in the MISTI, and you want to take the magnets and use them to hold down your paper. Now it's going to stick a little bit because this stamp has never been used, so it will stick to the paper a teeny tiny bit, but that's not a problem. Just fix the paper, put it back into exactly where you had it. Now we're going to stamp this 3 different times. That's the great thing about the MISTI. It will stamp in the exact same place all 3 times because it's being held down by those magnets. So inking it up again, I'm just trying to get a nice crisp impression. If you see, I'm walking over all of the areas of the stamp and then using the palm of my hand to just kind of make sure that everything has pressure on it, because you need to make sure there's pressure. You don't have to press really, really hard, but it does take a little bit sometimes to get certain stamps, especially ones that haven't been used, to get them to stamp properly. Now I'm just using a plain piece of paper towel to wipe the ink off of that stamp. And then we're going to go and put the rest of the sentiment together. So from that Lucky stamp set, I'm using the words I thank my, and then we've already stamped Lucky. And then there's one that just says stars, and then there's a sentiment that says for you. So we're building this sentiment, which is one of the things that I love about these stamp sets. Everything goes together. You can create so many different sentiments from it. So now I'm just lining everything up in my MISTI, and we're going to take out some black Versafine ink. I think it's called black Onyx. And if you look at it, there's a piece of paper inside. You want to make sure you keep that in there. This stamps beautifully. It gives a nice, crisp, dark black image. Like I said, we only have to stamp this once versus the 3 times we had to stamp it in the My Favorite Things. And look at how dark and nice it came out. So great ink for stamping sentiments. Now I'm going to take the bubble piece. That was the outside piece of the Lucky die cut that we did. And there's 2 interior pieces, the loop on the L and the loop on the Y, that you want to take out. You can use those. You don't have to use them if you don't want to, but I wanted to use those pieces. And now I'm going to take out my Zig 2-way glue pen and go around and put dots on the bubble. Now this unfortunately didn't stick very well to the cardstock, and I think it was because of the distress ink. Sometimes distress ink, it must change the chemistry of the paper or something like that, and it does not really want to stick with the Zig 2-way glue pen. So I can get it to stick to regular cardstock. For some reason, this doesn't really. So now you'll see me struggle with it, and I'm pressing it down. I'll use the cap at one point. I eventually pull out some blocks and put that over top of it, and that seems to work. I actually go back and put some dots of Zig glue a little bit above the letter, and then just kind of stick it down, and hopefully it stays. So if it doesn't stick, this would be the perfect time if you had a Xyron sticker maker to use that. That will actually, when you run it through, it'll create the word as a sticker, and then that'll be easy for it to stick to your card base. So again, just going back through and trying to get this thing to stick. So it's so thin, and it's very malleable, so you can make it go right around the letters very nicely, but it just did not want to stick. So there you go. There's taking 2 blocks and kind of pressing down on it. And in the meantime, waiting for it to dry, I put the ink away, and then I showed you guys the Lucky thin stamp and then the interior of that bubble. So you can use those together to create another card. So with one pass through the die cut machine, because I put both dies in at the same time and used different colors of cardstock, I got 2 card fronts from it. So nice and easy, and it makes making multiple cards fairly simple. So now we're gluing in the middle pieces of the L and the Y, and again I'm putting the blocks on top of it and just trying to get the rest of the pieces to stay. Some of it was coming up. This is where I really wish I had that Xyron sticker maker, because this would have made my life so much easier and this video a few minutes shorter. So again, putting stuff down on top of it. Now I'm showing you the card base. The card base is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 110-pound cardstock from Michaels. I did a black border piece, so it's 1/8 of an inch larger than the card base and 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base. I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base and 1/8 of an inch larger than the card panel that I was working on. You'll see me put the stars down. These are the 2 stars that I ran through my Cuddle Bug. I ran the one die through twice, and I got 4 different stars. Again, great feature that you run it through twice and get 4 pieces. So I like anything like that that makes it easy to make multiple cards. So it's really, really nice to be able to get more than one cut out of one pass through in the Cuddle Bug. So I'm just using the Zig 2A glue pen to put glue on the back of the black card piece that's going to actually be a little bit of a border around the card front that we created. So I will do the same thing with that, and then I realized that this star is still stuck to the block, so I'll put that back on. It had a little bit of glue on the front of it. It must have picked up some glue that was on the craft mat, and then I realized that it was on there, so I just stick it back on to the card base. So that's it for the card for today. This is, again, Concord and 9 products, which are fantastic. If you guys haven't checked them out, please feel free to do so. And I will do more videos on it. Like I said, the turnabout stamp for there, that's fantastic. And I will see you guys soon in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye!